Let's take you to the capital now, where several trade unions, political formations and civil society organizations are preparing to hold an emergency picket outside the United States Embassy in Pretoria, condemning the recent U.S. military operation in Venezuela. That operation saw Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro and his wife captured by U.S. forces, a move critics say violates international law and sets a dangerous global precedent. Among those leading the demonstration today is the SACP, COSATU, Africa for Palestine and the South Africa Latin America Association. Newzroom Africa's Veronica Makhoali is tracking that story for us and joins us live. A very good morning to you, Veronica. So have people started assembling and coming together for this picket? And really, what is the objective? Is there an MOU that they would be handing over to the embassy?
Well, Katlego, I can tell you that that demonstration is only expected to kick off just at around midday. But of course, we all know that the United States of America has set somewhat of a frenetic international political tone for 2026 following that surprise military operation in Venezuela that would lead to the president of that country being kidnapped with his wife. As we speak now, they are still currently in custody in the U.S. A move, Katlego, that has sparked world debate, but also sparked outrage, particularly across the global south, with South Africa among the countries that have labeled the operation as somewhat of a forced change of regime. Well, we are here outside the U.S. Embassy, where those several trade unions from NAHAU to COSATU, as well as political parties and civil society organizations, are expected to gather in that emergency picket. They say they will be here to demonstrate essentially in solidarity with Venezuela and condemn what they describe as the blatant flouting of international law, as well as undermining a country's sovereignty. But as it stands, there is already a lot of police presence in preparation for the demonstration that will be taking place, just as I've mentioned, at around midday. We are expecting quite a lot of numbers, but the embassy in itself tightening security. We've seen as well just in the precinct of the embassy that there is a lot of private security as well. And in a statement that was released ahead of today's actions, the group that will be gathering here, they say that Venezuela has not been targeted because it had failed its people, but because it has refused to surrender control of its resources and political independence. This perhaps, Katlego, a message that resonates with many here who see parallels with the broader geopolitical tensions. But they've also made it clear that the protest that will be taking place isn't just about Venezuela alone. It's really about defending the right of nations across the world to determine their futures without foreign interference, sanctions, kidnappings, or military force, particularly that coming from the United States. In fact, there is a particular line in that statement that really stood out. It said, yesterday it was Afghanistan, Iraq, and Libya. Today, it's Venezuela. Tomorrow, it could be any one of us. And that's the stance that the many organizations that are expected to gather here will be taking. We also understand that there will be a number of people who will also be speaking just outside these gates to make their message clear. And perhaps standing just outside the U.S. Embassy here, a message as well that they will be sending to U.S. President Donald Trump, who at the background of all of this has announced that, of course, around 50 million barrels will be handed over. This is barrels of oil from Venezuela to the U.S. as those tensions continue to grow, a move really that is still sparking a lot of debate across the world. Katlego.
All right, Veronica Makhoali keeping tabs for us there at the U.S. Embassy in Pretoria. That protest expected to start around midday.